What if the thing driving your flares, your brain fog, and the weight that won't come off isn't your thyroid at all, but a hormone nobody checked? As a nurse with autoimmune disease who found this out the hard way, I'll show you four simple habits, the lab that catches it years early, and why your immune system is paying the price. Because too many of us hear your sugar's normal and walk out still sick. It usually starts the same way. You go in feeling awful, tired in a way that sleep won't fix, puffy, foggy, flaring. The labs come back, your doctor says your blood sugar looks great, your A1C is fine, and you get sent home. But you don't feel fine. You get told everything looks fine, and yet your body does not feel fine. And that mismatch matters. Almost nobody checks this next part. Your blood sugar can read perfectly normal for years while your insulin climbs higher and higher behind it. Insulin is the hormone that moves sugar out of your blood and into your cells. When your cells stop listening, your body just makes more of it to force the door open. Your blood sugar stays normal, your insulin doesn't. That extra insulin does more to store fat. It pours fuel on the inflammation. And for an autoimmune body, inflammation is already the thing flaring your joints, fogging your brain, and going after your thyroid. So your insulin problem and your immune problem aren't separate. They feed each other. There's one root sitting underneath both. And I'll come back to that at the end because once you see it, these habits click into place. Before the first habit, one simple lever that touches both sides of this, and most autoimmune women run low on it, is vitamin D. It shows up low over and over in women with Hashimoto's, and it helps shape how your body handles insulin and how calm your immune system stays. I keep my vitamin D up with AG1's D3 and K2 drops. Vitamin D absorbs better in an oil form, and the K2 helps send calcium where it belongs. A couple of drops on my tongue in the morning, and I'm done. If you'd like to try it, the link is in the description below. And one honest note, this is what I use myself every day, and I never want to hype something up just because it sounds good. It truly does work for me, and I always give you those tips on what works for me. Check your own vitamin D level and talk with your provider before adding anything, especially with autoimmune issues, thyroid medication, or other prescriptions in the mix. Okay, habit number one, and it's the lab that I wish someone had run on me 25 years ago. Ask for a fasting insulin test, not glucose, not A1C, fasting insulin. Most checkups stop at blood sugar, and blood sugar is the last thing to break. By the time your blood sugar finally looks high, your insulin has often been running hot for years, quietly driving inflammation the whole time. And a fasting insulin test can catch that earlier, while there's still so much you can do about it. Why does this matter for you specifically? When I was in my 30s, I had every hypothyroid symptom in the book. I was losing hair on my eyebrows, all off my arms, cold all the time, constipated, exhausted, brain fog so thick I couldn't pull up simple words. And I kept getting told that my labs were within normal limits. Nobody looked underneath the normal and at the symptoms. A fasting insulin would have been one more clue on a page of clues that everyone missed. So when you get your next labs, ask for it. Fasting insulin. And if your provider won't run it, a lot of women order it themselves through a direct lab. Get curious about that number. It's information, and information is power here. But knowing your number is only one step. What you do at breakfast might matter even more. And most of the advice out there gets this part backwards. Habit number two, anchor your first meal with protein. and stop starting your day on an empty, jittery tank. A lot of women like me with autoimmune fatigue wake up already wired, heart going, mind racing, running on cortisol before their feet hit the floor. Then they skip breakfast, like me, or they have coffee and nothing else. And that cortisol pushes their blood sugar up on its own. Up goes your sugar and up goes your insulin. And the roller coaster starts before 8 a.m. A real breakfast with protein steadies that. Eggs, a clean shake, even last night's chicken. Around 30 grams of protein in the morning blunts the blood sugar spike and stops the mid morning crash that sends you hunting for sugar. This next part is where I push back on the popular advice because it matters. Everywhere you look, the answer to insulin resistance is fasting. Skip breakfast, fast 16 hours, fast longer. And for some people, that helps. But for a lot of women with autoimmune symptoms or disease, hard fasting backfires. Your body reads a long fast as one more stress, and it answers with more cortisol, which raises the very blood sugar you were trying to lower. I've watched women chase aggressive fasting and feel worse. I did that. More wired and more flared. And if that's you, you're not doing it wrong. Your body's just already carrying too much. And an empty tank is the wrong tool for an overloaded system. A gentler window would be eating within maybe 10 or 12 hours and closing the kitchen a few hours before bed gives you most of the fasting benefit without the stress hit. This is the kind of thing I lay out step by step in my free autoimmune relief and energy workbook. It walks you through the simple daily shifts, the food, the timing, the morning reset in an order that doesn't overwhelm an already tired body. It's free to you, and I'll put the link in the description below if you'd like it. So that's your morning handle. The next habit is about what your body does with all that sugar once it's in. And this is where most women have been told to do the exact wrong kind of exercise. Habit number three, build a little muscle because muscle is where your blood sugar goes to get used up. Your muscles work like a sponge for sugar. The more muscle you carry, the more you use it. The more places your body has to park that sugar instead of leaving it floating in your bloodstream, calling for more insulin. Strength work helps your cells to listen to insulin again. That's the whole game. And this is the part I really want you to hear because it goes against what most of us were taught. For an autoimmune body, hours of hard cardio can backfire. Long punishing cardio is stress on the body, and we just talked about what stress does to your blood sugar. I grew up as an athlete and I never had a weight problem until after my third baby. And when the weight came, I did what we're all told to do. I restricted food, I added in more cardio, I lost some, and then I gained it back with friends. And I felt worse when I was doing that. What finally turned it around wasn't more cardio, it was strength training and gentler movement, plus the deeper root cause work that I'll get to. You don't need a gym or 2 hour workout. 2 or 3 short sessions a week with some resistance bands, light weights, or your own body weight. A few sit to stands from a chair, a 10-minute walk after meals, which is its own little sugar sponge, by the way. Small and repeatable, the kind of thing your body can actually keep up with. But you can do every one of these and still feel stuck if you skip the next one because it sits over the top of all of them. This is the one that I really wish someone would have explained to me first. Habit number four, calm the cortisol and insulin loop because your nervous system is part of your blood sugar story, whether anyone told you or not. It is. When you live in fight or flight, that wired but tired state, so many of us know, your body keeps pumping out cortisol. And cortisol tells your liver to release sugar all day to get you ready to run from a threat if it ever comes. Up goes your sugar, up goes your insulin again. You can eat clean and lift weights and still get stuck there if your body never feels safe enough to come down. This was me for years. Sky high stress, 5 hours of sleep, that hum of being switched on all the time, and no clean eating could outrun it. So you give your body signals of safety on purpose. Slow breathing, where the exhale is longer than the inhale. Even 5 rounds tells your nervous system the threat is over. Time outside in real morning light, a warm sauna if you have access, which I use and love. Putting your phone down before bed so cortisol can fall the way it's meant to at night. None of it's fancy by any means, but all of it tells your body it's allowed to power down. And when it does, your blood sugar and your insulin can finally settle too. Get all four of these going, and you've changed the whole picture for yourself. But I promised you a root underneath every one of them, and this is where it ties together. Remember that root I said sits under both your insulin problem and your immune problem? It's your gut. When the lining of your gut gets leaky, the inflammation and stress and modern food all wear it down. Tiny pieces of bacteria slip through into your bloodstream where they don't belong. Your immune system sees them and goes on alert, and that keeps inflammation simmering. That's a big part of how autoimmune disease gets stirred up in the first place. And that same low grade fire makes your cells stop listening to insulin. One leaky gut feeds both fires at once. So, healing that gut lining is the umbrella over everything we covered. Steady blood sugar takes load off your gut. When your nervous system calms down, the lining gets a chance to repair. And real food and gentle movement help close it back up. The four habits aren't four separate chores. They're four ways of putting out the same fire. That's why I don't want you pinning all of your hope on one supplement or one trick. Your body isn't broken, it's burden. And when you lower that burden from a few sides at one time, the labs that never made sense and the symptoms nobody connected finally start to ease together. One important thing before we wrap up, this is for learning, not medical advice. So if you're having symptoms like a racing or pounding heart that won't settle, chest pain, fainting, or shakiness that scares you, please get checked by a provider because those deserve real attention. And don't change any medication on your own. Use this to ask better questions and to partner with someone who'll actually look underneath your normal. I really want to hear from you. So, of these four, which one is your body asking for first? The lab, the breakfast, the strength, or the calm? Tell me in the comments below. And please tell me what felt off lately for you, because your story might be the thing that helps another one who's watching this. If this connected some dots for you, please tap like so that more women who've been told their sugar's normal can find it. Please subscribe if you'd like more root cause answers that respect how tired you actually are. And please share this with one woman in your life who keeps getting sent home with a clean lab and a body that doesn't feel clean at all. That free autoimmune relief and energy workbook is also in the description too, if you would like the simple steps in one place. Remember, your body isn't broken, it's burdened. And when you understand those burdens, you can finally begin supporting your body in the way it's needed all along. Please take care of yourself because you deserve to feel better. And remember, we're all in this together. I'll see you in the next one.